Best case scenario, you've got warning signs up, security lights, security cameras, and you can always call 911. Worst case scenario, there is no 911 and you're on your own. This is Urban Sentinel, and let's get into it. Home defense and self-defense, they are very similar. It's all about protecting your ass and your assets at the same time. But the techniques in which you use to do those things may be different in a society that has collapsed and is without rule of law. In this video, I'm going to show you for demonstrative purposes only, purely entertainment and educational means, one of those techniques that you can use to protect yourself in your house or your apartment. Now, mind you, if you do this presently, you could get in trouble with the law and be held legally responsible and liable for any and all damages. Let's say it's been 20 days since everything collapsed. There is no 911, there's no working infrastructure, there's no way out from where you are, and you have no place to go to that's any safer than where you're at. Riots have been going on, looting's been going on, there are mobs and there are gangs moving through the streets and through the neighborhoods, houses on fire, people being assaulted, people being murdered, and so far you've been crossing your fingers hoping that each morning when you wake up you're not going to be next. But you realize that you do have an opportunity, and the opportunity to protect yourself as much as you possibly can within your means. One of those things is called denial of entry. Now, you can look at it on a grand scale with 8-foot-high chain link fence with razor wire on the top. You can think about motion sensors and alarms. You can think about, vicious attack dogs ready to pounce at a moment's notice. But if you don't have that and you don't have the capability to get that and have it prepared, you have to scale it down. You have to think about, at the minimum, slowing down, if not completely stopping a person from readily entering into your apartment or your house. Now, you can go through the usual things that you need to do of reinforcing your doors, taking the screws that hold the hinges in, replacing them with 3 to 4 inch screws so they go deeper into the actual frame, giving it more support. You can put on those kick plates that go on around the door locks and the door knobs to help reinforce the wood so it's harder to actually kick the door opening, causing it to splinter and the locks to come out. And of course, you can always go the New York City apartment route where you've got 16 different sets of deadbolts on the inside of your door to keep it protected. You can do small things with your windows, putting up bars on the outside if that's not a capability. You could also place plywood on the inside to, at least at the minimum, keep someone from visually seeing and breaking in, even if they throw bricks or rocks or something through. Now, one of the things that I'm looking at for a deterrent, and I'm just using for this video a scrap piece of wood and some screws that I had on hand to show you the purpose. It'll provide multiple uses for its design, and I can use it in 3 primary areas of my house, and it can be used the same in pretty much any apartment or any other type of structure that has a common door entry or windows and that sort of thing. And what you're looking at is a stop stick. Not quite what the law enforcement would use to stop a speeding vehicle. This one here, I took a scrap piece of wood and I used 3-inch screws, drilling them through the back side of the wood. I haven't finished completing the rest of them. You see there's 6 here, and then I'll have another 6 going down to this end. You can see it's pretty simple, nothing fancy. I used T20 Torx head screws. All I did was mark off roughly 2 inches all the way down of where I'm going to put the screws through. And as you see, they come through and they still leave a good solid almost 2 full inches exposed on the other side. Now, this is a non-standard window, but if I wanted to use it, I would cut the board to fit within the space of the windowsill and then mount it on top and then drill through at the ends to secure it. What you basically want to be able to do is put it on your windowsill on the inside of your window or on the outside, depending upon the actual window frame material. It prevents people that if your windows are open, let's say it's extremely hot and you have no power, so you don't have AC or a window fan, so you have to keep the windows open, but you don't want people sneaking in during the middle of the night to come in and do bad things to you. You have this on the windowsill as a deterrent. So what it'll end up doing is making an uncomfortable situation for someone reaching up, grabbing onto the windowsill to pull themselves in, or trying to climb over, slide their legs across, because as you can see, even with the spaces in between, you really have to look, plan, and select where you're going to put your hands to make sure that you don't impale yourself. Now, of course, you can easily add more screws in as you see fit. You can add different length screws. Maybe you want to put in 4-inch ones in between, make an entire perimeter wall to put up. Now with these, I'd suggest on the inside or outside, depending upon, I said again, the material of the actual window frame and if it's ability for you to actually reach and screw them in, because you may be on the 3rd floor, 5th floor, whatever it is. So the chances of someone breaking in from something higher than that are a lot less likely. So then you go to the next alternative, your interior of your door. So in the same theory, you'd mount these to the inside portion of your door. In the event that you have to open your door, you're cracking it open to basically have a conversation, someone tries reaching their hands in, they're going to end up getting their fingers caught in between and on the screws. It's primarily for those situations where, let's say you don't have a peephole in the door, you just have a door chain. That door chain is not really going to stop anything. So even if you put your foot up against the bottom of the door, there's a good possibility that someone may shoulder the door strong enough to push you back just a little bit, but they're going to want to get their hands in and on the door frame to help prevent you from closing it. If those screws are on the other side, when they reach in to grab, they're going to be in for a rude surprise. Now, another thing you can do is, depending upon the floor in your room, in your house or your apartment, usually wood floors, carpeted floors over subflooring work well. This is just strictly sitting down on the cement as a purpose, but you would take boards like these, measure out the distance from your door where it opens to the most effective, adequate distance that you want it to come open, and then screw the boards in, maybe one at that point to block the door from opening up completely, and then you repeat the process with 2 or 3 other boards spaced out a little bit after that. Basically, what you're looking to accomplish is a sort of trip and fall situation where if someone does get the door open, you know how far the door is going to come open. They don't. So when it only opens up maybe 18 inches and they figure they can just force their way in, then you have these spike boards, stop sticks down on the ground, drilled in at different intervals. That's going to be a problem for them, not for you. But one thing to also take into consideration, whatever obstacles you put up to keep someone out can also be used to keep you in. So you want to make sure that you have a secured, safe, fast way to get out of there, whether it's a fire or an overwhelming force coming through one entryway. You need to have another way that you can get out quickly, or be sure that you know how to quickly remove whatever obstacles you've placed in there. So this way you can make your escape and keep on running and not get pinned in, not get cornered, not get trapped in your own place. So it's a very low maintenance, low investment DIY hack for home defense. A couple of pieces of board, maybe, a 2x1 or some furring strips, depending upon what you're going to do. Get the appropriate size screws to go through, as long as they are secured enough where the material isn't going to splinter when you start drilling them in. And this way you can secure them to the window frame, to the door frames, to the floors, whatever it is, when you need to have them. That's a bonus, that's a benefit, because there may be a situation that evolves where there is no 911 and no one's going to be there to help you, and you have to be able to come up with a way to keep a distance between you and the threat long enough for either you to eliminate the threat or escape from the threat. So hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think, share some ideas. I'll be coming out with a few more of these over a few more videos over the next coming weeks. Till then, catch you in the next one.